and that the audience refrain from clapping or other expressions of agreement or disagreement during public comment. As a reminder, the purpose of the Charter Review Commission is to review the charter and propose amendments that will be on the ballot in November for all registered voters of Pierce County to vote for or against. So for tonight, we'll start with public comment in the room. So anyone who would like to speak tonight, hopefully you signed in and said yes. If you have not done that yet, there should be another sheet out there for you to be able to sign in for. I'll call your name. You'll have 2 minutes to share with us anything about a specific proposal that we have before the body. And please tell us your name and what district you're from. So first up, I have Jeanette Montgomery. And there is a mic on the platform, so please do make sure that.
Yes, my name is Jeanette Montgomery. I live in District 3. And the only thing I want to say is I support keeping our sheriff elected. Thank you.
Thank you. Ian Armstrong.
Ian Armstrong, District 7. I want to speak briefly to C38. I cannot stress how important C38 is. I mean, just think about all the other documents that run the different aspects of our country, whether it be the state constitution, the federal constitution, you know, all these documents are nearly impossible to change for a reason. We can't have documents that are running important aspects of our life be able to change with the winds. That's insane. There's a reason that our founders didn't do that with the state constitution or the federal constitution. And we really need to respect that. And honestly, it should have been how this charter was created. I'm shocked that it's not. How easy it is just insane. C9 and C31, 2 proposed amendments for the pro tempore, and it's shocking how different they are. One of them is simple, basic, just saying, hey, we need to create one, right? And the other one is this big convoluted item that can lead to people being suspended that were elected. And I can't understand why we are contemplating that one. We need to say no to, I believe that one was C9. It's too convoluted and it brings too many things to the table that just shouldn't be there. So I think we should say no to that. So thank you.
Thank you. And I will let folks know, because I realize I can see the timer, but you all can't. So I'll give you 1 for 1 minute and then 5 for 5 seconds. All right, next is Shelley Smith.
Hello, I'm Shelley Smith, and I also live in District 3. And I just would like to say I would like to keep our sheriffs elected.
Thank you. Edward Smith.
Hello, I'm Edward, District 3. Shelley's my wife, but I'm right along with my wife. We need to keep our sheriffs elected. So that's the main reason I'm spending my time here.
Thank you. Right. Next is Celeste Sonata. I'm very sorry. I'm fairly certain I said that wrong.
Yep. Or no, it was correct.
Oh, okay. I am not great at that, so thank you.
Celeste Sonata, District 4. As voters, our faith in our democracy comes from the promise that our elected officials will have to work together to reach a consensus and thus shape the trajectories of our cities, counties, and state in representation of all of us. What then of the sheriff who carries the torch of enforcement all on his own? It's fair to say, given the constant stream of alarming news coming out of our nation's capital this year, that unchecked power has caused an undue amount of stress on our political system and on our communities. Here at home, I'm worried what the future holds when the sheriff can essentially unilaterally decide things on his own. I argue that anyone who seeks the position of sheriff does it more for the authority rather than ideology, because it is a job that rewards heavy-handed enforcement, the silencing of opponents, and naked corruption. I believe there is no reason to expect this bent toward power to change in the future. Why is this acceptable? It is madness to assume that the sheriff, a position based on authority, would choose to voluntarily limit said authority when no external measures are taken. If the public has no reasonable recourse to recall or oppose an unchallenged incumbent, and if the county council cannot expect to limit the schemes of the sheriff on its own, then for the health of our community and our county, it is imperative at a minimum that a safety mechanism be put in place, a sheriff ombuds that will witness and transparently report on the actions of the sheriff's department. The potential for harm otherwise is far too great. Thank you.
Thank you. Carla Scott?
Carla Scott, District 5, speaking in favor of Amendment C26 and C24. I apologize ahead of time because I have to leave this meeting at 7 p.m. I'm going back up to SeaTac for the arrival of the 76 veterans that we sent to Washington, D.C. Saturday morning with Puget Sound Honor Flight. I want to be there to welcome them home. So I was listening to the news this morning and it made me realize why I am pushing for Amendment C26. I'm tired of being bullied. I'm tired of being told that I am the problem, that my standards and values are wrong. At least I have standards and values. I'm tired of bullies who prioritize criminals and evil. Bullies who condemn me and others like me because we want to live in a country without trash, drug addicts, and criminals taking over our communities. 38 years ago, we were told to, don't worry, be happy. Today, I opt for a different oldie from 1984, one whose words still apply today against the movement to drastically change our world. That song is, We're Not Going to Take It Anymore. I hope you get a chance to read the lyrics of both songs. I've been tired and retired, but now at 72 years old, I'm getting my second, maybe third wind. I'm here to fight for C26, C24, and for standards and values in the country that I love and fought for. We owe criminals and illegal aliens nothing. We owe veterans everything. You have picked the wrong person to bully. I'm a fighter, and I'm here to fight for what is right, not for what the bullies want. Thank you.
Thank you. Eric Lindbergh?
All right, thank you, Madam Chair, appreciate it. My great-grandfather, Oscar Lundberg, fought in World War I. He came home to Pierce County and he paid taxes the rest of his life. My grandfather, Robert Lundberg, fought in World War II, came home, paid taxes in Pierce County the rest of his life. My father, Ralph Lundberg, fought in the Vietnam War, came back, paid taxes in Pierce County his entire life. I paid taxes in Pierce County my entire life. And I've heard rumblings about it, but now to see it in person, when people do not stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, that tells me that you do not care.
Excuse me, can you share which proposal you're speaking to tonight?
All of them. All of them.
Okay,
There's no free speech?
there absolutely is. That's part of our public comment is that we ask
Okay.
folks to tell us which proposal they're speaking to.
Okay, then I am speaking to C24.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyway, going back to that, I think that it is very important in these chambers that if there's a protest or some statement that wants to be made politically or ideologically, that's fine. That's why we live in the greatest nation in the world where we can make those statements, but this isn't the place. You know, Pierce County is turning into Olympia, and I go to Olympia often and I see that those lawmakers down there do not care about the people. They don't care what we say or anything. And the one thing that brings us together is the Pledge of Allegiance to that flag. And what our feelings are need to be put aside when we're in places of leadership. And we need to represent everybody. Because when I see people not standing for the flag, that tells me that there is an agenda behind this, and all this is just theater. That we're just here to, make us feel good that we have a voice to speak to. So I would love to see some kind of something that says you don't have to agree with it, but you have to stand for the flag. So Veterans Affairs, I'm a huge supporter of veterans, obviously. And then P14, I think I have about 10 seconds left. I'm not too sure about bringing natural resources. Is that done? Bringing natural resources into the preamble. I want to keep the preamble of our state charter about the people and keep the natural resources out of it. Thank you.
Thank you. Emily Anderson?
Emily Anderson, District 1. I want to talk about C34, increasing the size of the council to 9. I don't think we need to be doing that. That'd be a huge impact in funds for the county. And also so I'm against that one. And C37, affirmation of constitutional rights and protections. I think that we need to have bail bondsmen. Like, this will be a huge financial burden and stress upon our courts that is creating more problems and does not give accountability for people to actually appear in court. And then P14, recognition of natural resources in the preamble. Reading through that looks like we're giving the environment the same human rights that we have, and that should not be part of our charter. And let's see, then also I support, C34, and that's all I got. I left my notes at home, so I'm just going off the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you. And I think we might have more folks signed up. I don't know if someone can grab that list. I'm blocked in my boards, so thank you, Commissioner Lee. Is that right? All right, Carol Sue Brayton.
I do agree with the fact that we have a Veterans Affairs appointed. And I've heard from some people with that, and for the 5th district, by the way. Also, not to have the commission expand to 27. They feel like instead shrink to the higher populated areas and let the rural and other areas then incorporate and expand that way. And then on the natural resources, that parts of those are pertaining, I believe, to an RCW that's already in place in law. So we need a better expansion of that. But the protection of our water aquifer recharge areas, the protection of other resources is a necessary thing because we haven't complied with a lot of the situations happening with the growth management, and to add the medical examiner to the coroner, but keep both names in because some people don't realize that coroner and the medical examiner can be doing the same thing.
Thank you. All right, that concludes public comment in the room for this evening. We'll now move on to anyone online who has public comment. And same as in the room, you'll have 2 minutes and please state your name and your district. Over to you.
Yes, for any members of the public who should provide comment, press the raise hand icon on Zoom or star 9 on your telephone keypad. Madam Chair, looks like at this time we have 2 hands. First hand is going to be Jeff Winter. Please state your name for the record as well as your district in the last 2 minutes.
Yes, Jeff Winter, District 5, here to speak on the unofficial act by this commission to move forward on proposal C1. It has the potential of abrogating the right for people to choose their chief law enforcement officer, the sheriff. Madam Chair, I'd like to start by quoting the late United States Supreme Court Justice Anthony Scalia. I quote, "The Constitution is not a living organism. It is a legal document, and it says what it says, and it doesn't say what it doesn't say. As I've stated before, our Constitution is a contract between the people and our government, and when you took the oath, you agreed to protect our rights, not attack them. Remember, the constitutions within the United States are expressed trusts, and to act outside the bounds of your authority is what the United States Supreme Court was referring to when, on July 1st, 2024, in Trump versus the U.S., they said that only official acts were protected, unofficial acts are not. Again, the purpose of our rights being declared is to let our government know what is off limits for them to touch. And just because we the people, as seen in Article 1 of our state constitution, have ignorantly allowed our government to attack our rights with impunity for generations, doesn't mean that there isn't going to be a day of reckoning. As I mentioned last week, you took the oath, your legal counsel did not. Sadly, some of you probably don't even know where the administration of the oath is mentioned in our state constitution. For those of you who don't, it is not unreasonable to assume that you put little value in our constitutions. In closing, maybe this would be a good teaching moment for all of us. For those who aren't familiar with Article 1, Section 6 of our state constitution, I challenge you to read it, and after doing so, go back to the first meeting, and watch the ceremony where the oath was administered, and ask yourself, was it performed according to the written text of our constitution? Why is this important? Because if it wasn't administered as written, then it wasn't done according to form. I'm going to speak on that legal technicality later. Thank you.
Thank you.
And our last hand is Christy Gledhill. Please state your name for the record as well as your district. You have 2 minutes.
Hello, Commissioners, good evening, and thank you. Christy Gledhill, District 7. I want to weigh in favor of C30, the proposal to add a new Executive Department of Sheriff Ombuds. I believe that this amendment is critically needed and will benefit residents of Pierce County on both sides of our political divide. Let's for one second not think about our current sheriff and instead cast our vision forward to when an unknown elected or appointed sheriff occupies that office. Who would not feel better knowing they had some recourse with concerns and complaints about county law enforcement? Currently, we have absolutely no recourse or way to voice our concerns. This amendment proposal lines out a transparent process by which the ombudsperson would be recruited and vetted by a panel and ultimately the council. The ombuds' sole function would be to receive and investigate complaints, to make referrals, and to make their findings and recommendations public. That type of transparency is good for everybody. It protects residents as well as law enforcement officers. Further, the proposal calls for the creation of a community advisory committee, which, if it is properly structured, can foster trust, enhance transparency, allow space for the diverse perspectives our county contains, and act as a sounding board for policy. Just urging you to please consider the long-lasting benefits of law enforcement accountability to the residents of Pierce County and moving this proposal to the next step in the process. And since I have a couple seconds left, I just want to let you know that you do have quite a bad echo this evening on this call. It makes it really hard to listen. Thank you.
Thank you, and apologies about the audio. I will keep trying to speak more directly into the mic, and hopefully that will help. And just a reminder to commissioners that when you are speaking, try and get real close, and hopefully that'll help as well.
And there's no other hands.
Wonderful. So
Wait, stand by. We have one more hand that just went up. Arnold, please state your name for the record. You'll have 2 minutes, as well as your district.
Can you hear me?
yes.
Quite an echo. I would just like to speak to the importance of this process you're going through with the charters. The Constitution of the United States is not a stagnant document. In order to form a more perfect union, they have added 26 or 27 amendments to it. And I think this process is very important to include more people and more rights. what you're doing is very important, I appreciate it, thank you. Onena Arnold, District, District 7.
Thank you.
And at this time, there are no other hands.
All right, so that concludes public comment officially.